Hi guys, I want to talk to you this week about anger and how it plays into advocacy. I gave a talk last week to about 350 people and I talked about the 5 Cs of advocacy. They're compassion, connection, creativity, curiosity, and credibility. And those 5 Cs can help you to be a strong advocate for yourself, your ideas, your team, your business, and your family. After my talk, there were lots of questions and one man raised his hand and said, "What about anger?" And he was right, because usually when we have to advocate for ourselves, it's because we feel like something was unjust or unfair, and it is natural to feel anger. But if you want anger to work for you in advocating for yourself or your ideas or your team, you have to do certain things. The first thing you have to do is feel it. So many of us, especially women, sort of shy away from anger. We're afraid to embrace it. And it's important that you know that you're angry and recognize it so that you can do the next thing, which is to use it. You have to use your anger. And there's all kinds of studies, and they're cited in my blog this week, that show that anger can actually make you more creative and more credible. And it can actually make you more analytical. But that good effect only lasts for a very short time, so that you have to use your anger to do those things, but not let it use you. And that gets us to the last point, which is to own it. You have to own your anger and not let your anger own you. I once represented a doctor who was sued in a case, and it was clearly a frivolous case. He was angry. And I asked him, almost begged him, not to let that anger show during his deposition, not to lash out at the opposing counsel. But he could not own his anger, and he let his anger own him. Ultimately, we were able to file a motion and have that case dismissed, but his deposition made it a little bit more difficult. Years later, that same doctor was sued again. Again, we felt it was a frivolous case, and again, he was angry. But this time he agreed to try it my way and to use his anger in a way that was productive. He owned his anger. And during his deposition, he was credible, he was analytical, he was charming. And that deposition, immediately thereafter, the patient's attorney dropped the case. I believe it was in large part because he was so likable in his deposition that the attorney knew the jury would like him. That doctor owned his anger, and he owned the case. Anger is a part of advocacy. It's a part of almost everything that we do. It is natural and human to be angry. But if you can feel it, use it, and own it, your anger can help you to become a better advocate. I'll be back next week with more tips and tricks. You can order my book, The Elegant Warrior, at the link below, and I will see you next week. Have a great weekend.